successful if you don't graduate, and to graduate you have to pass this course. So to pass this course you have to work for this course. I mean, it's an old thing that is, you know, things are connected.
Yeah. Now I know how serious it is.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very interesting piece of architecture to start with. Let's say, just so we don't get carried away, for a 2-hour exercise to say, okay, how could you develop that?
It seems to happen that today a lot of the people who were big fans of like characters that are so like culture devoted, like Transformers, have changed so much. A lot of names, a lot of things. So I was.
I can't speak.
You're a tree? What toy is this supposed to be?
What's character?
Yeah, what character?
It doesn't have a name, but it's a tree from a cartoon. Which is like the tree has a very cool haircut, so thank you.
So,
What are you doing?
I am making wings.
You're My Little Pony?
Little Pony. Yes, I am the blue one, so I'm Pegasus.
Pegasus?
Yeah. Like, I feel like there are 3 kinds. The one Pegasus and unicorn and a normal one. And I'm the Pegasus.
Are we part of the...
This much, but I'll wait.
Or see like...
What's going on, guys? Joseph here with Architecture School Chronicles. Welcome back from spring break. Spring break. Everyone had last week off, so I didn't put out a video for last week or actually this Monday. So I hope you all had a great spring break, everyone who was on spring break. Because of that, some students went abroad, some went to Brazil, and some went to Germany. Hopefully I'll have some photos for you for that. But you might be wondering why I look like a tree. Let's go see.
Monopoly.
I like these notations.
I did that. I'll say this to you guys. Take like cool.
There we go.
Good, stretch it. Just let me do 2 photos. One, wait.
So the game is that Annie is going to roll the dice, and there's going to be certain shapes, and the people in the people drawing, the participants have to draw those shapes that Annie's going to tell you, and there's going to be a specific beat that you have to follow, and you have to continuously draw that shape to the beat. Okay, so the game begins.
Diamond.
Diamond?
Yes.
You have to...
Oh, sorry. Wait, do I do it again?
Yeah,
Now?
you have to do it like a bunch of times.
Oh, star. Spiral.
Okay. And the things so ridiculous that I thought about was that when I was drawing them, how the tail and the hair express so much of their personality. And the color does too, but also the shape of the tail and the hair is what really expresses them. And so I was trying to make a mane and a tail, basically the 2 elements that are going to express their mood or their personality the most. And I think that this expresses my personality pretty accurately. So that was why I chose Raylo and pink crowns. But
So the more I kept looking at the Transformers, I realized that in order to follow this path from like a car, which is kind of this asymmetrical form, so it kind of like functions aerodynamically as it goes in speed, and then it transfers into a human. They both share this kind of one axis, and that's how most of the toys are kind of transformed from one end to the other. They follow this line of symmetry.
I am the game of Jenga. I started off the project with collaging the game just on top of my body and just like trying to have like a sense of how that can become a costume, and then trying to like turn that into a suit. And I started off by making these interior explorations where I used piano wire and tubing to as a way to tectonically join the blocks together, which I thought was a great system, but when I used the piano wire, it didn't have like enough of a fabric quality to drape it over my body, so I ended up using string instead as a way to like have more movement within this textile that I created.
For me, most about like My Little Pony is it's like 2D quality, so that's why I chose paper. And also I cut up the wings because to make it look more airy. And since you can see through them, and it's like has its flexible quality. And I also like taped parts of my clothes because the Little Pony has outlines, so to show that it's more like anime-like. And they all have very solid color scheme, so that's why I cut out strips for my tails because the color doesn't mix.
But it is exactly this, it's sort of this gigantic roof. That's I like it, it's great. I like it.
The other day I chose this and I wanted to recreate like this idea. So when I was like looking at, I wanted to create this texture, and because the table has like depth in its like little circle, I wanted to recreate that because the image here, when I turn it like black and white and like play with the levels of the image, it was like pretty clear that it has like a composition that is like a circle in two different colors.
New series of Hasbro called Full of It's called Full of Treasure. Basically, if you plant a little dreamer, you got a tree, which is full of treasure. So I decided to make a tree, but not exactly look like any of them, but just make a tree because the structure of the tree is quite complicated to make. So I decided to use my body as a trunk.
Okay.
I am Groot. Groot's a tree that is a person in Guardians of the Galaxy. And so I have these limbs that cover my body and extend everywhere, made out of this craft paper. And then the mask is just kind of wrapped around with chipboard and then paper mache and painted to look like a tree. And Groot, like a tree, grows, gets taller, gets bigger, and his superpower is being a tree and extending his limbs and being super long. And so it's kind of a person inside.
Show us how it's super long.
I was mainly interested in how the Transformers essentially turn from like a sort of object to something which directly references either the human scale or sort of the body.
And I was watching the movement shots as well, and I was really interested in the way they abstracted the human form. And I was thinking about how the little ponies kind of do that in a similar way, where I was reading that like the most desirable kind of little pony is one that has like thick legs and like has like a sort of an abstracted form.
Could be, could be a little thing. It's interesting to decide at what scale do you work? Because you could have done something that can be done like this, right? Or you could have done something that is very, very large. And so the question of how big these things are important, and it seems to me that intent is independent of, relatively dependent of the body, has the size of the shield, as somebody said. But in the case of, for example, in the case of Poor or Annie, it would be much, much harder to make it half as big or twice as big. So this is an important thing about scale.